Welcome to Lifespan, the weekly podcast that digs up the dirt on the most outrageous, chaotic, and downright WTF lives ever lived.
Yeah, forget what you learned in school. This is history's unhinged side.
Today, we're embarking on a bizarre journey into the world of legendary thieves. We're talking about people whose lives sound, honestly, more like fiction than fact.
Absolutely. For this bizarre journey on the Lifespan podcast, we've looked through a really fascinating stack of testimonies. We're focusing on 5 individuals, maybe a group too, who just took audacious larceny to a whole new level.
Right, forget petty theft. These are like masterclasses in the unbelievable.
Definitely. Get ready for some gasps and no way moments.
Okay, so we're talking Vincenzo Peruggia, the guy who basically pocketed the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Then there's D.B. Cooper, the skyjacker, who just vanished.
A total ghost. And Stefan Breitweiser, the art klepto who wasn't even in it for the money.
Strange one, that. Plus Albert Spaggiari, the sewer-tunneling bank robber with that insane escape.
Oh, that escape is legendary. And finally, the Pink Panthers, the sort of phantom network of jewel thieves.
A modern phenomenon. Really terrifyingly efficient. Each one took taking things to a mind-bending level.
So let's unpack their most unbelievable heists, the chaotic aftermaths, and the surprising legacies they left behind. Where do we start? Peruggia.
Let's start with Peruggia, Vincenzo Peruggia. The irony here is just, it's almost too perfect. An Italian immigrant, and get this, he'd actually worked at the Louvre before.
Doing what?
Installing protective glass, including, supposedly, for the Mona Lisa itself. Talk about an inside track.
You cannot make this stuff up. Okay, so set the scene. August 21st, 1911. Paris. The Louvre.
Security back then. Well, it wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
More relaxed, fewer guards, less tech.
So Peruggia apparently just hid in a closet.
Yeah, the story goes he hid in a broom closet overnight. Then the next morning, Monday, when the museum was closed, he puts on a white worker smock, blends right in, walks up to the Mona Lisa.
Which is what, like 30 by 21 inches? Not huge, but noticeable.
Right. Lifts it off the wall, takes it to a service staircase, pops it out of its frame in the glass,
and
tucks it into his smock and just walks out.
Just walks out. But surely someone saw him. The door must have been locked.
Well, here's the kicker. He did struggle with a locked door, but a plumber happened to be nearby.
Oh, no.
And the plumber just assumed Peruggia was another worker who got locked out and helped him open the door.
You're kidding me. A plumber helped steal the Mona Lisa.
Unwittingly, yes. It highlights this incredible series of, well, lucky breaks for Peruggia.
Unbelievable. So he gets out, and then what? Did alarms go off?
Nope. Get this. Nobody even noticed the painting was gone for over 24 hours.
24 hours? How is that even possible?
Well, a visiting artist finally noticed the empty space on Tuesday morning, and then pandemonium.
I bet. Global chaos, right?
Absolutely. France literally closed its borders temporarily.
Yeah.
Rewards were offered. The theories were flying. Some blamed J.P. Morgan, others Germany.
Didn't they even suspect Picasso for a bit?
They did. Him and Apollinaire. They were questioned but cleared. It just shows the panic and confusion.
Okay, so Peruggia has the world's most famous painting. Where does he put it?
He kept it in his apartment. Yeah. In Paris. For 2 years.
2 years? Where?
Hidden in a trunk. Apparently it had a false bottom, and the trunk was under his stove.
Cooking dinner practically on top of the Mona Lisa. Wow. What was he thinking?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? He later claimed it was patriotism. He thought Napoleon had stolen it from Italy, which is wrong. Leonardo brought it to France himself, and he wanted to return it.
A misguided patriot. Or maybe he just liked having it.
Could be a bit of both. The thrill, the secret, who knows. But in 1913, he makes his move.
Okay, what happened?
He contacts an art dealer in Florence, Alfredo Jerry. Says he has a Mona Lisa, wants to return it to Italy.
Bold move. Did Jerry believe him?
Jerry was skeptical, naturally. But he agreed to meet, bringing the director of the Uffizi Gallery along. They authenticate it. It's the real deal.
And then they call the cops, right?
Immediately. Peruggia was arrested.
So after all that, what happened to him? Big sentence.
Surprisingly light. Just over a year, and he only actually served about 7 months.
7 months? For stealing the Mona Lisa? Why so little?
Well, that whole patriotism angle probably helped. He became a minor hero to some Italians. Seen as eccentric, maybe, rather than purely criminal.
That's wild. But the craziest part is what the theft did for the painting itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the ultimate irony. The theft made the Mona Lisa the global icon. It was famous before, sure, but this cemented its status. Everyone knew about it because it was stolen and recovered.
The empty space on the wall became a sensation. Talk about unintended consequences.
Exactly. It went from masterpiece to myth.
Okay, from a simple walkout theft to something completely different. Let's jump to the skies. D.B. Cooper.
Ah, the ghost of the airways. November 24th, 1971. Thanksgiving Eve.
A guy calling himself Dan Cooper. The DB part was actually a media error later.
That's right. So Dan Cooper boards Northwest Orient Flight 305, Portland to Seattle. Mid-40s, looks like a businessman. Suit, tie, raincoat. Very unremarkable.
Until he wasn't. What happened after takeoff?
Shortly after they were airborne, he very calmly passes a note to a flight attendant, Florence Schaffner.
What did it say?
It said he had a bomb in his briefcase. And he wasn't bluffing, or at least he made it look convincing. He briefly showed her a glimpse inside wires. Red sticks looked like dynamite.
Okay, serious stuff. What were his demands?
Pretty specific. $200,000 in negotiable American currency. Importantly, unmarked $20 bills. 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve, and a fuel truck ready in Seattle.
4 parachutes. Why 4? To make them think he might take a hostage.
That's the prevailing theory. To ensure he wasn't given sabotage shoots, maybe? Or, yeah, imply he wasn't jumping alone. Adds to the mystery.
And his demeanor through all this?
Reportedly, very calm, polite even. While the plane circled Puget Sound for about 2 hours while the authorities scrambled to get the money, he ordered a bourbon and soda.
He ordered a drink.
And paid for it. It's such a bizarre, cool-headed detail.
Okay, so they land in Seattle. What happens on the ground?
Just as he asked. The passengers were allowed off the plane in exchange for the money, 10,000 unmarked 20s, and the parachutes. A few crew members stayed on board.
And then he takes off again. Where to?
He gave a new flight plan. Southeast, towards Mexico City, but with very specific instruction.
Row to where?
Fly low, only 10,000 feet. Keep the speed under 200 knots. Landing gear down. Wing flap set at 15 degrees.
That sounds specific, like he knew about planes. Or jumping.
It strongly suggests some knowledge, yeah. Those conditions make a jump from the rear air stairs of that plane. A Boeing 727, feasible. Slower speed, lower altitude.
The 727 had those stairs at the back.
Exactly, a unique feature. So somewhere around 8:00 p.m., flying between Seattle and Reno over this really rugged forested area in a rainstorm.
Perfect conditions for disappearing.
He lowers those aft stairs
Yeah.
and jumps out into the night, into the storm, with $200,000. The pilots just felt a change in air pressure.
That was it. They never found him.
Never. Massive manhunt. Scoured the area. Nothing. No Cooper, no parachute, no briefcase. Well, almost none of the money.
Almost. What do you mean?
There's that strange discovery in 1980. An 8-year-old boy, Brian Ingram, was digging on the banks of the Columbia River. He found 3 packets of the ransom money, about $5,800, decayed but identifiable by the serial numbers.
Whoa. But was that anywhere near the supposed jump zone?
Not really. It was quite a way downstream, raising more questions than answers. How did it get there? Did it wash down? Did Cooper lose some? Did he land near there? It just deepened the mystery.
So the FBI just gave up eventually.
They investigated over 800 suspects over the years, kept the case active for decades. But in 2016, they announced they were closing the active investigation, redirecting resources. It remains the only unsolved air piracy case in U.S. history.
Incredible. And he became the sort of folk hero, didn't he?
Absolutely. D.B. Cooper symbolizes escape, sticking it to the man, beating the system, and getting away clean. The fact that he vanished allows people to project all sorts of fantasies onto him.
The ultimate unsolved mystery. Okay, let's shift from skyjacking to, well, obsessive collecting. Stefan Breitweiser.
Ah, yes, Breitweiser. His case is fascinating because it wasn't about the money at all. At least that's the claim.
Right. Between 1995 and 2001, this French waiter and his girlfriend, Anne-Catherine Kleinklaus, they stole art. A lot of art.
The estimates are staggering. Something like $1.4 billion worth of art and artifacts.
Billion, with a B, and not for profit.
Apparently not. He claimed he stole it purely for personal enjoyment. Aesthetic appreciation, he called it. He wanted to possess it, live with it.
So where did he keep $1.4 billion worth of stolen art?
In his attic room. At his mother's house in Mulhouse, France. He basically created his own private, secret museum.
How did he even steal that much? Was he like a master cat burglar?
His methods were surprisingly simple, almost crude, really. He targeted smaller regional museums and galleries, often ones with less security.
When would he strike?
Often around lunchtime, when staffing might be lower or things were quieter. He'd just slip pieces off walls or carefully lift things out of display cases.
And hide them how?
Usually just under his coat.
Oh.
Sometimes he used a Swiss Army knife to detach things. His girlfriend often acted as a lookout.
That's brazen. How many pieces did he steal?
Around 239 items are documented. Paintings, sculptures, silverware, antique weapons. A real range.
Just snatching centuries of history and hiding it in his bedroom. It's a bizarre kind of obsession.
It really is. A perversion of art appreciation, maybe. Taking loving art to a criminal extreme.
So how did he finally get caught? Did he try to sell something?
Nope. It was another theft, a relatively minor one. In November 2001, he was in Switzerland and stole an antique bugle from a museum.
A bugle?
Yeah. But this time, a guard saw him acting suspiciously and noted down his car's license plate. That led the police back to his mother's house in France.
The trail finally caught up, so the police raid the house and find the billion-dollar attic.
Well, here's where it gets even more tragic. When the news of his arrest broke, before the police could search the house thoroughly, his mother panicked.
What did she do?
Marielle Schwengel. She destroyed a huge portion of the collection.
Destroyed it? How? Why?
She apparently went into a rage, cut up paintings, smashed sculptures, shoved things down the garbage disposal. She even threw a load of items into the nearby Rhone-Rhine Canal.
Oh my God. That's horrific. All that art just gone.
Over 100 objects were lost forever. Irreplaceable pieces. She later said she was angry at her son for the shame he'd brought on the family. A devastating reaction.
More devastating than the thefts, in a way. So Bleitweiser served time.
He did, in Switzerland and France. But incredibly, after he got out, he was caught stealing again later.
Seriously, he didn't learn.
Seems like that obsession was just too strong. His case is unique theft driven by desire, not greed, leading to this awful destruction. A strange, sad story.
Definitely strange. Okay, from obsessive hoarding to a heist that feels like pure cinema. Albert Spaggiari.
Ugh, Spaggiari. The nice bank heist. This one is like a movie script. Flamboyant guy, audacious plan.
He was a photographer, right? Not your typical bank robber profile.
Exactly. Bit of a character. And he masterminded this incredible plan to rob the Société Générale Bank in Nice, France, back in 1976.
And he didn't go in the front door.
Not even close. He went underground. Literally. Over 2 months in the summer of 76, he and a crew dug a tunnel.
A tunnel? How long?
About 8 meters,
Great.
maybe 26 feet, straight from the city's sewer system.
Ugh, the sewers?
Yeah, imagine working in there for weeks. They dug right up into the floor of the bank vault itself.
That takes some serious planning and effort. When did they finally break through?
Perfectly timed for Bastille Day weekend. The bank was closed for days. They got into the vault, and apparently they partied.
They partied in the vault.
Reports say they brought in wine, food, relaxed a bit while they worked. They opened hundreds of safe deposit boxes.
How much did they get?
Estimates vary, but around 60 million francs back then. A huge sum. Millions and millions in today's money.
And Spaggiari left a note, didn't he?
Allegedly, yes. Scrawled on the vault wall, sans armes, ni haine, ni violence.
Without weapons, nor hatred, nor violence. Classy touch for a bank robber.
It added to the whole mythos. The gentleman burglar, even after crawling through sewers.
So, did they get away with it? How did he get caught?
They got away initially, but months later, the classic downfall. Someone talked. A former girlfriend apparently tipped off the police because Spaggiari's accomplices were trying to cut him out of his share.
Betrayal among thieves. So he was arrested. End of story.
Oh, not even close. This is where it gets really Hollywood. March 1977, Spaggiari is meeting with the investigating judge in his office.
Okay.
He claims he has new evidence coded in a document he brought. He holds it up for the judge to see.
Bit of distraction.
Totally. While the judge is looking at the paper, Spaggiari turns, runs to the window, and jumps.
Jumps. How high up was he?
3 stories. But someone had conveniently parked a car right below. He landed on the roof, bounced off it, and a waiting accomplice on a motorcycle swooped in, picked him up, and they sped off. Gone.
That is absolutely insane, like a stunt sequence.
Right. And the best part, he was never recaptured.
Never. Where did he go?
Lived underground, probably mostly in South America is the guess. He gave interviews occasionally, wrote books, basically thumbed his nose at the authorities who couldn't catch him.
What a character. How did his story end?
Well, he died of throat cancer in 1989. But even his death had a bizarre twist.
Go on.
His body was somehow mysteriously transported back, and left on his mother's doorstep in Italy. Nobody knows exactly who arranged it or how.
The whole thing is just layer upon layer of unbelievable. The planning, the nonviolence note, the escape.
He definitely became a kind of anti-hero folk figure in France. The audacity is just undeniable.
Okay, from these very distinct individuals, let's talk about something different. A network. The Pink Panthers.
Right. This is a shift from the lone wolf or single crew to a modern international criminal phenomenon.
Who are they exactly?
It's a loose network, not one single gang, primarily jewel thieves, many originating from the former Yugoslavia, particularly Serbia and Montenegro. Interpol dubbed them the Pink Panthers.
Well, yeah, that name.
After a heist in London, police found a stolen blue diamond hidden in a jar of face cream, just like in one of the Pink Panther movies. The name stuck.
And they emerged after the Balkan Wars in the 90s.
That seems to be the origin. The chaos and availability of weapons and experienced personnel from that conflict might have been a factor in their formation. The network is estimated to have anywhere from 200 to maybe 800 members.
Operating how?
In fluid, semi-autonomous cells. They target high-end jewelry stores across the globe. Tokyo, Dubai, Paris, London, everywhere.
And their methods are distinctive.
Very. Their signature is speed. Lightning-fast robberies, often under 90 seconds, sometimes even faster.
90 seconds? How?
Smash-and-grab tactics, meticulous planning and reconnaissance beforehand, disguises, and really bold entrances and exits.
Like what?
Ram-raiding, driving cars straight through shop windows, using speedboats for escapes, sometimes deploying tear gas. Very dramatic, very fast.
Wow. Any famous examples?
Oh, yeah. The 2004 heist in Tokyo's Ginza district, they got millions in jewels, including a famous necklace, in about 36 seconds flat.
36 seconds.
Or the 2007 Dubai Wafi Mall heist. They drove 2 cars through the mall entrance, smashed into a Graff jewelry store, grabbed millions in diamonds, and were gone in minutes.
It sounds terrifyingly efficient. What are they usually after?
High-value diamonds and luxury watches seem to be their main targets. Top brands, big stones.
And are they hard to catch?
Extremely. They operate across borders, use forged passports, have complex logistics. Even when members are caught, there have been dramatic prison escapes staged by accomplices.
Like something out of a spy thriller.
Pretty much. Interpol has a dedicated Project Pink Panthers just trying to coordinate efforts against them. They represent the modern face of large-scale organized jewel theft. Highly professional, highly elusive.
A stark contrast to someone like Perugia just walking out with a painting under his coat.
Completely different worlds, yeah. Shows the evolution, maybe, of high-stakes thievery.
So, wrapping this up, what a bizarre journey, right? Looking at these lives.
Absolutely. From Perugia's simple, almost naive theft that created an icon to Cooper's enduring mystery.
To Breitweiser's strange obsession, Spaggiari's theatrical flair and escape.
And the chilling efficiency of the Pink Panthers. The range of motives and methods is just wild.
It really is stranger than fiction. What stands out most to you across all these stories?
Maybe the different ways they all exploited vulnerabilities, whether it was lax museum security, the novelty of air travel security back then, the complacency of small galleries, the physical infrastructure of a bank, or the globalized luxury goods market. They found the weak spots.
That's a good point. And the legacies are so different, too. Perugia almost accidentally making the Mona Lisa more famous. Cooper becoming a legend, precisely because he was never found.
Spaggiari remembered for the sheer audacity and the escape. Breitweiser as a cautionary tale of obsession, and the Panthers as this ongoing shadowy threat.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About risk and obsession and why these stories fascinate us so much. That allure of the forbidden, maybe.
Definitely leaves you pondering. What drives someone to take such enormous risks? And why do some of them capture the public imagination, even become heroes in a strange way?
Lots to think about. This bizarre journey into the unhinged side of history has definitely given us some incredible stories.
It certainly has.
We'll keep those questions coming, folks. Share, rate, and follow the show for more wild stories. Join us next time on Lifespan for another dive into the lives that history forgot, or perhaps deliberately tried to forget.